Old Bridge Town Council meeting to order. Please rise for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops serving abroad and for our first responders who protect us. I'd like to turn it over to the mayor.
Thank you, Council Vice President. It's a great sadness. Again, I have to stand before the public and take a moment of silence for a township employee, an active township employee. Mrs. Beth Cunningham passed away. And words are difficult to come by when you lose someone that you've worked with now for myself over 11 years now. And so I think it'd be fitting that Mr. Shah say a few words. Beth and her work, she was a dedicated employee, one of the hardest working employees that I've ever had to deal with, a professional in everything she did. So I would ask Mr. Shah if he would like to please share a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council and public. Yes, it is a sad for the Finance Department. Elizabeth Cunningham, we call her Beth. I fondly call her Super Beth on Speedskate. Passed away on September 14th. She was a lifelong resident of Leonardo, New Jersey. She's survived by her husband, 38 years, John, son Michael's, daughter Alicia, and Jamie, and 4 grandsons. Beth, as Mayor indicated, was a dedicated, very hardworking employee. It's a great loss to Finance Department. It's a great loss to this township. She's been here for 18 years. She's a dedicated employee for 18 years. She began working at the township as an accounts payable clerk in October 2004. She was promoted to assistant purchasing agent in 2012 and appointed as a qualified purchasing agent for the township in May 2017. There is nothing you would ask she wouldn't do. She would do anything and everything, spend extra time. There are many times I have to tell her that, yes, you are an employee of the town. You need to put overtime. She wouldn't even put the time in on the books that she worked. So that's how hardworking she was. She was an outstanding employee, and I know myself, along with Dawn, my assistant, and all finance staff are sad to see her go, and we're going to miss her forever. Thank you.
Moment of silence. The prayer, Ms. Piscitty, Mr. Sorry.
Dear Lord, bless the servants in the ministry of public affairs who serve thee in this chamber. Give us quiet minds and hearts that we may hear your voice. Help us to know when to speak, when to be silent. Give us strength to oppose the wrong and uphold the right. And grant that we have a good conscience and soul at peace with thee and with one another. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. We're going to start tonight with the proclamations. Oh, sorry.
Yes. This meeting is being held in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been given to the newspaper, and notice of the meeting has been posted in public places. Next open public meeting of the council will be held on October 11th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m.
We have 2 proclamations tonight. First is going to be a proclamation congratulating Alexandra Lachman for Miss New Jersey, USA 2022. Mayor?
Thank you. Thank you, Council. As you know, I have 2 proclamations tonight. We are acknowledging some tremendous accomplishments by 2 young ladies of our township that have deep roots here in Old Bridge. Our first proclamation, I would like to acknowledge Alexandra Lachman, Miss New Jersey, USA 2022. Alexandra is a 26-year-old first-generation Ukrainian-American born and raised in Old Bridge. Russian was her first language, and she did not learn English until she was 5 years old. She graduated from Old Bridge High School in 2014. Alexandra then attended the Fashion Institute of Technology, graduating in 2018, and immediately fell in love with the e-commerce industry. After having extensive internships in the field, she is currently a digital marketing associate manager for Newell Brands, a Fortune 500 company. Alexandra is deeply connected to the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine because her father, who has joined us tonight, Igor, and grandparents were born in Odessa. As Miss New Jersey, USA, she plans on continuing to give back to those who are affected by the ongoing conflict and working with nonprofit organizations such as UNICEF and Save the Children. Alexandra's younger brother is diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy, a progressive physical disability. Throughout her spare time, she's actively involved within the Cure SMA organization and currently serves as a communications chair for New Jersey. Within this role, she generates awareness through social media and events that ultimately lead to raising revenue to fund scientific research. Alexandra is honored to serve as Miss New Jersey USA 2022 and hopes to be an excellent role model for others to look up to. She's excited to continue her advocacy within the Cure SMA organization, nonprofit supporting the war in Ukraine, and many other philanthropic works throughout the state of New Jersey. She hopes that her voice can inspire those around her to advocate for what they believe in. On October 5th, she is determined to bring the title of Miss USA 2022 to New Jersey for the first time. Now, therefore, I, Owen Henry, Mayor of the Township of Old Bridge, along with the Township Council of Middlesex County, State of New Jersey, and on behalf of the people of Old Bridge, do hereby extend our congratulations and good luck to Alexandra Lachman, Miss New Jersey, USA 2022. I would now ask her father to please come up. Come on. Thank you. And if you want to give some details about how you can follow the pageant, we're so excited that we have somebody from Old Bridge representing Miss USA contest.
On behalf of my daughter, I actually called her and asked her if there was anything that she wanted to say. And what she said was that she's very thankful and honored to be recognized for her achievement. It was a very long road. It took her 10 years and 7 tries. And she hopes that she could inspire others not to give up on their dreams. Thank you.
Can we be on TV?
Yes.
We
Yes.
could watch it.
October 3rd, on FYI, Miss USA will be translated.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're very proud. Our next special guest is with us tonight. Caroline, would you please join me? Thank you, Caroline. Joining me at the podium now is Caroline Kalinowski. She is representing the ZPA organization known as the United Poles in America. She will be marching in the Pulaski Day Parade on Sunday, and I will be joining her with many other Polish people from here in Old Bridge. As you know, we have a large Polish population, and it continues to grow. So we're very proud of Caroline representing Old Bridge and the ZPA in this Sunday's parade. So I would just like to say a few words about Caroline. Caroline Kalinowski, Miss Polonia ZPA 2022, was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and currently lives in the Parlin section of Old Bridge with her parents. In 2019, Caroline completed Matura and graduated from Polish school. This year will be her 3rd year volunteering at the Polish school as a teacher's aide. She is passionate about her involvement at the school and enjoys giving students the same impactful experience she had while attending. Caroline graduated the Old Bridge High School in 2020 and then graduated with high honors from Middlesex County College with an associate's degree in science, criminal justice. Caroline currently attends Keene University, where she is working on completing her bachelor's and master's degree in criminal justice. And hint, she is actively looking for a law enforcement internship. In her spare time, Caroline enjoys acrylic painting, kayaking, and hiking. Caroline, we would like to thank everyone for her nomination to Miss Polonia ZPA 2022, and is excited to represent and march in the Pulaski Day Parade on Sunday, October 2nd. Now, therefore, I, Owen Henry, Mayor of the Township of Old Bridge, along with the Township Council, Middlesex County, State of New Jersey, and on behalf of the people of Old Bridge, do hereby extend our congratulations to Caroline Kalinowski, the 2022 Miss Polonia representative from ZPA. Congratulations. Say a few words.
I'm not sure what to say.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot, Miss Polonia, and just say,
I just want to thank everybody. I'm really happy to be here tonight. And on behalf of the ZPA Perth Amboy, I'd like to invite everyone to the Pulaski Parade, to anyone who's interested or would like to attend. Thank you. Thank you.
very nice. Thank you so much. Here,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are very Old Bridge proud this weekend with this representative of our town at these prestigious events. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations. Next, we have 3 liquor licenses.
Is Mr. Janarone here?
These 3 are both for the Coy Group of Old Bridge, but we're going to do them separately. Hi. We're going to do a roll call first.
Councilperson DeCaro. Here. Councilperson DePalma.
Here.
Councilperson Desai.
Yeah.
Councilperson Garcia.
Here.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli. Here. Councilperson Murphy is absent. Councilperson Pasquini.
Here.
Councilperson Walker.
Here.
And Council President Sohar is absent.
Okay. Resolution approving liquor license renewal for preliminary retail consumption license number 120933-007-009, Coy Old Bridge Group, LLC, for the 2021-22 license year.
Can you just state your name for the record and who you're here representing? Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I guess I'm representing 2 people this evening, Coy Old Bridge Group LLC and Old Bridge Holdings 2 LLC.
Okay.
So,
Thomas Jenner, did I say my name the
No.
second time? Thank you.
Council Vice President, we've received all the proper documentation in order to renew both the 2021 and 22 license years, and there has been no objections received from the police department.
And you agree with all the terms?
Yes, I do.
Do I have a motion? Move it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson DeCaro. Yes. Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes. Next, resolution approving liquor license renewal for plenary retail consumption license number 1209-33-007-009, Coy Old Bridge Group, LLC, for the 2022-23 liquor license year. Oof. Same thing.
Yes.
Move it.
We've received all 3, and you agree?
Yes, I do.
Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson DeCaro. Yes. Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes. Next, resolution approving a person-to-person liquor license transfer, liquor license number 1209-33-007-009 from Coy Old Bridge Group to Old Bridge Holdings 2 LLC.
Yes, all documentation
Douglas.
has been received, and they've met all the requirements set forth.
And do you agree with all?
That is correct, yes.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Desai. Roll call.
Councilperson DeCaro. Yes. Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Next, we have our bill list. Dr. Greenberg?
Yes, bill list, September 27th, 2022. Accounts payable, September 27th, 2022, $11,776,878.12. Payroll, September 16th, 2022, $1,049,402.22. Payroll overtime, September 16th, 2022, $31,841.44.
Could I have a breakdown, Mr. Shaw?
Thank you, Council Vice President. As Councilwoman Greenberg Bella indicated, the total overtime for this pay period was $31,841.44. There was really no uptick in all of the department except DPW supervisor contracts. We settled the contract and we had a retroactive pay for them. For the police department, sworn police overtime was $20,835.27. When you deduct grant, $5,744.57. Deduct the ETO, $1,703.10. The net overtime was $13,387.60, representing 261.5 men and women hours. There was no pandemic cost this pay period, and there are 2 officers either injured on duty or on light duty at this pay period. That concludes my report, Council Vice President.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Motion by Dr.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by
Dr.
Mr. Pescitti. Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli. Yes. Councilperson Pescitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Approval of minutes of previous meeting. A resolution approving combined regular council meeting minutes of July 12th, 2022. Do I have a motion? Moved by Dr. Greenberg. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Pescitti.
Mr. Pescitti. Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
What number?
Minutes.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pescitti.
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Public hearing and/or adoption amendment to those ordinance for second reading. H1, ordinance amending the Code of the Township of Old Bridge, specifically Chapter 394 and 394-1, entitled Holiday Sale of Flowers and Plants. At this time, I would suggest that we don't have a motion because there's no merit to this ordinance at this time. So I move to...
Yeah. No. Right, well, you can ask for a motion, and then if no one,
I would suggest there's no motion at this time because there's no merit. Yeah, ask for a motion. Okay.
and if it's,
Hearing no motion,
right,
the ordinance dies.
thank you.
Okay, ordinance H2, ordinance amending Old Bridge Township Code Chapter 250-38.1, Economic Development Opportunity District Zoning and Design Standards.
It's a change.
Yep. Dina, could you come up, please?
Good evening, Council. This is an ordinance to create the Economic Development Opportunity Zone 4. This area was already slated for non-residential development as part of an approved GDP. However, when the GDP was approved, there were no bulk standards. So if an application is filed, there is no bulk standards for us to review the application. So by creating the EDO 4, we're just creating these bulk standards so that it can be reviewed thoroughly. It was already slated for non-residential uses again, retail, commercial, flex space.
Anyone from the council have any questions?
This would just be specific to this one area, right? Or
That is correct, and it was part of the GDP that was approved almost 20 years back. The ordinance that is in front of you has one change. It's a typographical error. The maximum front yard setback requirement was 50 feet. It's changed to 150 feet.
I think, Vina, also it's important to note that the ordinance is being implemented in accordance with a master plan re-exam.
That is correct. And at the last presentation, I had mentioned that we actually amended our master plan re-examination report to go over and change these GDPs that were approved, because it's not just with Woodhaven where this EDO 4 is located. It's also part of the Glenwood Oaks 1 where we have an approved GDP, but we don't have bulk standards, or the standards are not accurate, wherein it would lead to single family home owners going in front of the zoning board for impervious coverage requirements. So we created a recommendation wherein we could go back and revisit these approved GDPs and come up with bulk standards.
So as Vina had, I don't know if any council members have questions with Vina on the ordinance itself.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay.
So before you adopt it, and as Vina had referenced, if you go to the fourth page of the ordinance, and there's table 1. On table 1, you'll see there's maximum front yard setback along all other streets. It was, in the ordinance originally as introduced, was 50 feet.
Yes, that is correct.
The correct should be 150 feet. It's not a substantive change. So my recommendation is that the council vote to adopt that amendment first before moving to adopt the ordinance.
Okay, I'm going to open to the public first.
I would move to adopt the amendment first, then.
Okay, do I have any motion to adopt?
Move it to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call on the amendment.
That was, who seconded? That was Councilperson
De Palma.
Palmer.
Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro?
yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
7 yeses on the adoption of the amendment to the ordinance.
Now I'd like to open to the public. Anybody here on H2? Okay, I'll close it to the public. Now a motion to adopt the ordinance.
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquini?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
7 yeses.
H3, ordinance amending chapter
Thank you, Council.
169, festivals, mass gatherings of the code of the Township of Old Bridge. I don't think we have anyone here to speak about. Oh, okay. Mark will.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Council, if you recall, this seems to be an evolving provision of the Township's code, and not unusual. I think, you try to strike a balance, and then you see what works, and sometimes you have to further amend it. This was amended, underwent a dramatic change a few years back, but then since then, they discovered there were some issues that had arisen, and there was a meeting amongst a few members of the council, myself, planner, members of OEM to discuss some of these changes. And what we try to do is to make it easier relative to the count for the number of people. One of the issues was when there's a multi-day event, how do you count the number of people? Is it for each? Is it for the? If let's say if it's 3 days and the number was 500 people, well, is it per day or is it 500 for a 3 days event? We made it clear that if it's a multi-day event, the ordinance would apply for each day and the account would be for each day, so that they would have to get a separate license for each of those days. We also allowed it. We extended the time because sometimes we found that. By the time we got all the documents in place, issues had arisen, and then there were questions coming up at the last minute. So we extended the time back that the application has to be filed at least 90 days in advance from 30 days. That then gives the clerk's office, all the other departments within the township plenty of time to review it. Any issues come up within those 90 days, we should be able to address it before we have the process. There was also, we increased the number of people for the outdoor assembly, went from 500 to 1,000, so it's a larger group. 500 seems to be a small, when you look at it, it's not hard to hit 500 people. So we thought that 1,000 was a number where, it covered larger events, and obviously this was intended for larger events. Another change was, if I think you remember, there's a question of a bond that was in the original ordinance. What we changed it was instead of a bond, and it made it easier, I think, for applicants is to provide proof of commercial general liability insurance. And then the limits are set forth in there that ultimately, while there was a $10 million bond before, the essence is now you have $10 million worth of insurance rather than a bond, because these types of insurance for these types of events are easier to get. Then it also includes a hold harmless agreement because what we've discovered that even over time, even though there's these bond requirements are out there and there's an event held at a private facility, the town still is named in lawsuits. So now with this hold harmless agreement, we utilize that. It's a basis that we can get out of these types of suits relatively easy. The other thing that's a little bit different is that we're giving the authority to the municipal clerk, again, to issue the permit, the license rather, assuming everything's in place, rather than, again, we would have the public hearing. But I think the idea is have a modified process, and again, to the extent that all of these things are met, clerk typically issues a license. But there is a right of appeal to the extent that the clerk decides that for whatever reason, the necessary requisite items aren't in place, or she doesn't feel that the license should be granted, then the person has the ability to appeal to council to hear from the basis of the denial. So I think overall these changes incorporate, and they're good, I think positive changes that'll hopefully make the process smoother, give people more time to get the application in, and then it addresses some of the issues that had risen over the last few years relative to the insurance requirements as well.
I'll move it.
First, we have to open to the public. I'd like to open H3 to the public. Anyone here for the public? I'll close the public portion. Any comments from council? Any questions?
Sorry. A lot of it, yeah, makes sense. And Mr. Roselli, you made a lot of sense in everything that you said. My only concern or question is moving it from 500 to 1,000. So if there's like 900, they don't need a license? Is that?
And I think that's, Ms. Carr, I think that's true of any number, right? Wherever you pick it, right? So how do you know it's 499 if it was a 500? I mean, you really don't. And obviously, you have to rely on it. Was the same before. You have to rely on the applicant to give an estimate, and that's why we broke it up on a per day basis too. So again, if you have 5 days, you have to get a license for each day. I think that's something that's an issue no matter what number you set it at, right? So I think the point was being is that the necessity of having a license for events that are smaller in nature, while realizing that it's not a exact science, you know, and I think we would have that issue no matter what, unless somebody's really, you know, counting. Now, at Raceway Park, it's a little bit easier because they usually sell tickets, right?
Right.
But carnivals, it's a little more difficult. And I think the other thought was, as part of increasing the number, was that a lot of times for these smaller events that are typically put on by nonprofits, they generally don't attract 1,000 people a day. So then they would have the additional cost and expense of having to get the license, pay for the insurance. I think this was another way to alleviate that additional cost and expense for a lot of nonprofits as well.
So,
And residents. I mean, sometimes if the
Sure.
residents are going to have a, you know, say a block party, you could arguably, some of those could require a license. So that was one of the things I think thought in process.
right, and so those smaller, is there any type of licenses or insurance requirements for those smaller groups? Do you know what I mean? And you know what I'm trying to ask?
We have a special event permit.
Okay.
It doesn't cost anything.
Got it.
There's no fee associated. There's no requirement for insurance, but it's really for notification to our emergency services that there will be an event going on at that location, just that it doesn't reach the level of needing a mass assembly permit. So we still require a special event permit.
But you don't require insurance for that?
No.
And has that ever been, has there ever been a concern or a problem with anything related to any smaller events under 1,000 people where, you know, I'm just concerned about voting for this, you know, and it's, you know, even if it's 750 people, no insurance and something happens. That's, I guess, where I'm concerned.
Council Vice President, if I may, just to clarify, I think I think at one time we had 1,000 people limit that was lowered 500 recently, and we
Right.
realized the difficulty for civic organizations, religious organization, and I think most of these organizations, they hold the functions. Let's say if they hold the function at the town facility, we require insurance to hold any kind of events. So is the Board of Education. If you hold an event in Board of Education, they require insurance coverage provided. Most religious organizations, if they have their own facility, they have insurance coverage, liability insurance coverage. I don't think that is necessary for us. The mass assembly, which is a large crowd event that has caused small event under 1,000, I don't recall ever any issue came up where there was a major issue to the township. Most of them are not held in open facility or not received thousands of vehicles coming out of town. Just remember at the Raceway Park, Mud Runner, or a lot of those events where they had over 5,000 people. That's where some of the issues always been, but not on the small level, civic organizations, religious organization, holding any functions that we have experienced any real issue. And it would be very difficult for them. There are 500, 600 people, and now suddenly they need all the mass assembly requirement, the cost. It would be prohibitive. So that's why we thought, let's go back to the 1,000 people.
Anyone else? Mr. Desai?
I want a clarification. This is, as I'm reading, is only for outside activity. If it is done in indoor, doesn't apply.
You know, right.
Okay.
When you have, well, look, I think that you can have an event that's inside, right? But if it's a event for a holy, holiday or holy day at a different facility, no, they don't have to get it. These are your typical carnivals, like what happens over Raceway Park, those types of events.
So the reason my own community
Right.
have every year, and which is coming this weekend, 4 days, a dance festival and also Diwali religious
Right. It's a
celebration.
religious ceremony,
But
correct?
it's always inside.
No, I get it. And it's not geared for those religious ceremonies, for sure.
Any other questions on the side?
One thing I noticed, I'm sorry, in the purpose section, the last line, it's the 60 should be 90. So can we vote to?
Can we have a motion for the amended ordinance?
Move it.
Second.
Second? Okay. Roll call?
Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Paskitty?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
7 yeses.
This ordinance was worked on for quite a few years, and we had all the emergency personnel there, and everybody was happy with it. It took a lot of tweaking and stuff, but at the end, they're very happy with this. So do I have a motion to adopt?
Move it.
Roll call?
Councilperson Paskitty, second by Dr. Greenberg Belli. Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro?
This is the miss.
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
1 second. No, I have some comment and I need some clarification.
So you're voting no, or you want to make a comment?
And then recreation fee, can somebody present us
on
what
the
is the
We're on H3 we're voting on.
current rate and what will be the future?
We're rating,
we're on assembly.
we're on H3 right now.
We're voting on the adoption for
We're
each.
on the adoption. We voted before on the amendment.
Okay, sorry.
So you're
Yes, on H3.
Yes? Okay. Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Paskitty?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
7 yeses, motion carries.
Now we're on H4. Ordinance amending the Code of the Township of Old Bridge, specifically Article 1, Recreational Fees, Section 160-1, Ice Rink Fees. Mayor?
Council, good evening. I'm filling in for Matt tonight. Matt could not make the meeting. As you remember, last council meeting, Matt gave a comprehensive explanation of why we need to raise the fees over at the ice arena and our obligation, our responsibility to make sure that that facility pays for itself as we move forward with its programs. And even on what you're voting on tonight or considering to vote on tonight, our rates are still, as we did the analysis, less than half of any other competing rink, even with the increases. I have the breakdown if you would like the numbers, but our 8-week program will now go to $75. The closest 8-week program is $165. Our cost per lesson per hour is going to a little over $9 an hour, $9.38 to be exact. The lowest per hour lesson in our surrounding competing ice rinks is $20.57. So even with these increases, there's still an opportunity for a bargain here, even for out-of-town residents, to come to Old Bridge and take advantage of the skating programs for less money than they would in their own town if they come from a town where the arenas are available. So I would strongly recommend, council, that you approve this tonight. And I'd say if anyone has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. But Matt went over the cost has gone up, cost of Freon, cost of maintaining the arena, the salaries have gone up. Just the cost of doing business has gone up. And as a council, you have a responsibility to make sure that our fees stay up to make sure that the arena does not fall into a state of financial hardship to the community.
So my
Anyone have any-
concern, Mayor, I think we should not increase the fee to the resident of Old Bridge. Non-resident, I have no personal problem. I understand the cost of maintenance and everything is going up.
I don't know how many non-residents we have participating in our programs, so just increasing it to the non-residents might not accomplish your responsibility to make sure that that arena stays solvent. So I cannot recommend that be.
I think we have to be realistic in this time. Prices are going up across the board. This is just how it is, and it's very sad and it's very unfortunate, but we've held the line for a very long time. We're very proud of that arena. We want to keep it where it's safe, maintain it for the residents so they can enjoy it, that they can go there, and things that are updated, and the cost of machinery, employees, everything that you mentioned, Mayor, is absolutely true. And these are the
we do not want
times.
to jeopardize these programs.
Yeah. No, we want to have them available for our residents, and it's just the times that we're in. I mean, if you're saying that, Mr. Desai, why don't you say something about gas? Why don't you say something about food? I mean, that's just how it is right now, and for no fault of our own,
Under our
it
control.
is coming very strongly.
As I said, Council, we have a responsibility to manage that arena.
And-
And I'm asking you to manage it tonight. We are asking that it be managed.
Council,
anyone else
Vice
from
President,
council?
Council, I, as a chief financial officer, we constantly review the financial position to make sure the township and our operation is solvent. And I 100% agree with what Mayor stated. There are times we can do fee increases, and just to be clarifying, that arena is already have a higher fee for out of town, but it's a Green Acres property, and there are limitations. You can't just say any increases. We will never recover what we need in operation. And I know that taxpayer, if you don't collect the fee from the users, you're going to collect that money from the taxpayers, because taxpayer has to fund any deficit. And in many years, we have fund deficit to the township operating budget. So maintaining proper financial, cost versus the revenue is important. And we only recommend when we see it's needed. So I urge council members to support and adopt the ordinance so that we can increase the fees.
Any other council?
So, Mr. Shah, the way you are presenting, that if we don't increase the fee, we may have to raise the tax. So this is a tax in disguise of fee.
No, I disagree with you. It's a user fee.
100% disagree.
I understand very
People
clearly.
using the arena are the one paying, so that the
use it,
taxpayer who are not using arena are not fully subsidizing the
money.
entire operation.
Total misstatement.
Anyone else?
Yeah. I just want to back up Mr. Shah. It basically is that the people that are using the facility are going to have to pay a little more. That's all. We're not going to divvy it up, socialize it, and make everybody pay for something that they don't use. Matt explained that the Freon, 400% increase in the Freon alone used to be like $400, and now it's $1,600. It's incredible, the cost to maintain. So it's either going to come out of the tax dollar, out of the taxpayer, or out of the user's fees. And I think the best way to do this is the user fee. So I'm supporting this. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. De Palma?
So I think based off of Matt's financial analysis that he did last time, it does make sense for it to go up. As a parent whose children utilize that ice skating rink every Saturday for ice skating lessons, and friends that utilize their children go there all the time, I know, no one likes to see prices rise. Unfortunately, the prices have to go up. So, I'm in support of this. We have to look at it as, it is a business. As the cost goes up, so does the cost has to get pushed over. We're not making money on this. We're looking to just be, even, right? And we're not trying to get into the black. We're trying to stay out of the red, and keep it $1 spent is $1 brought in. And based off of Matt's analysis, that seems like what we're looking at doing, and from there, that's why I would support it.
Last year, I believe we had $200,000 in deficit, so it's important that we adjust the revenue needed.
Okay, I think it's all the council. I'll open it to the public now. Anyone here from the public on H4? I'll close the public portion. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second? Anyone? I'll second it. Roll call?
Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
No, as I understand, Mayor's view on this, Mr. Shah and other councilmen, I think I'm partially convinced that yes, this is not to all taxpayers. This is only going to affect the people who are using this facility. So principally, I think I understand, and as an accountant, I know that everything is going up. So when expense goes up, but I always believe that all kind of different fees are imposed on the taxpayer is kind of a tax, even though we don't say tax. So I still vote no.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
6 yeses, 1 no.
Next, the consent
Thank you,
agenda.
Counsel.
Thank you, Mayor. Do I have any separations? Kate will go around.
Councilperson Desai, any items for separation?
C9.
C9? There is no C9. There's C8.
Oh, hold on. I'm using which I print out at home. So
Okay.
it's C8.
C8, the Cheesequake Village, you want removed? Okay. Councilperson DeCaro?
I have no separations.
Councilperson DePalma?
No, thank you.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
No separations, thank you, Kate.
Councilperson Garcia?
Oh, yes, C8.
C8. Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
No, thank you, not at this time.
Councilperson Walker?
No, thank you.
So just item C8. So we're going to take a motion on the
Remaining.
balance.
Move it.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes. Okay, C8, Mr. Desai? You wanted to
Yes.
talk about it?
I just want to first know what is the current with all kind of private community. As I read it here in attachment to this particular resolution, that there is a private understanding between Cheesecake Village and Township for providing lighting, street lighting, as well as snow removal and ice removal. As I understand, and I live also in private community, we are getting reimbursed only for the street light.
There are some community where the roads are private, primarily parking spaces. They may not be getting reimbursement. I can't say about each community. I don't know about your community, but when there is a public road or the roads being accessed to the community and there's not a parking, under the law, we are required to provide reimbursement to equal the cost of the township. So there is a calculation that we go through. There is a whole process. And so, yes, township provides reimbursement for street light and snow removal when the roads are public road, basically access road to the development. And this has been in place over 25, 30 years, and the law requires that when a request is received, that we go to evaluation process. There is a whole step in our ordinance. Once that is completed, an agreement is prepared, and a council resolution is required to approve the agreement. And once the agreement is approved, there's an annual reimbursement process that is handled in the finance department. But yes, We do not provide, the third component generally in many towns is the garbage removal, but we don't provide garbage removal service, so we don't have any reimbursement requirement.
But see, in Old Bridge, I don't know how many, but there are many, almost 100 private community. Because if we give it to one private community or two, snow removal, everybody will come to us.
We have many community that has an agreement with the township, and there are reimbursement provided for both street light and snow removal. This is not a new things. This is not the first one. They probably, in reality, we haven't had this agreement for many years, but. Yes, we are required, and we do reimburse for snow removal services.
Who the private community can approach here in Township?
They can contact clerk's office to start the process, send a request, and then it goes through from the clerk's office to the finance, legal.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Mr. Garcia, did you want to speak on this too?
Yeah, I was just, as president of Cheese Creek Village, I was just abstaining.
Okay, then we have a roll call, please. Oh, we need a motion first.
Move it.
I'll move it.
Second.
Now roll call.
Who moved and seconded?
Mr. De Palma.
De Palma. And second by
Mr. Pescitti.
Mr. Pescitti. Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes, after clarification.
Let the record reflect that Councilperson Garcia is abstaining. Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
6 yeses, 1 abstention.
Okay. Do we have a report of the clerk tonight?
No report.
Do we have a report from the attorney?
Nothing to report, Madam Vice President.
And now we know we have an administrative report, Mr.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Administrative report for September 27, 2022. Item number 1, property tax reimbursement, senior freeze forms. The deadline to file the 2021 PTR form with the state of New Jersey is October 31st, 2022. Application must be postmarked by this date. For additional information, residents should contact the State of New Jersey Division of Taxation at 1-800-882-6597 or the Division of Tax Collection at 732-721-5600, extension 2999. Item number 2, 2021 tax sale. The municipal tax sale was held on September 21st with the following results. 35 third-party liens were sold, 34 liens were sold with a premium, 1 lien sold at an interest percent, and 4 liens were no bid on and were struck up to the township. A total of $2,025,600 was collected for premium and $223,845.49 was collected for taxes, interest, and penalty. OBMUA did not participate in this year's tax sale due to COVID restrictions. Item number 3, public service, electric and gas modernization project. PSE&G contractor Chrisdale Construction Corporation will begin payment restoration within the Arbors development, beginning with the Shadow Lane Drive, Whitewood Place, and Cedar Grove Place on or about Wednesday, October 5th, weather permitting. Notification is being provided to the residents by PSE&G. No parking sign will be posted 24 hours prior to the commencement of work. For update on this project, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at oldbridge.com/projects. Should you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact the engineering department at extension 2302. Item number 4, Spring Valley Road Culvert Extension. Old Bridge Township contractor CMS Construction, Inc. will begin construction on Spring Valley Road Culvert on or about Monday, September 26, weather permitting. Spring Valley Road will be closed between New Jersey State Route 18 and Amboy Road for the duration of the construction project, which is anticipated to take approximately 1 to 2 months. For update on this project, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at oldbridge.com/projects. Should you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact engineering office at extension 2302. Item number 5, and this is a good news. NJDOT Route 34 and Amboy Road traffic signal. New Jersey Department of Transportation contractor have completed construction work associated with the installation of the new traffic signal at the intersection of Route 34 and Amboy Road. Motorists are reminded to use caution in proximity to the intersection as drivers are being acquainted with the new traffic pattern. Should you have any question, please do not hesitate to contact the engineering office at extension 2302. Item number 6, fall TV pickup. There will be township-wide pickup of television this October. Pickups in Ward 1, 2, and 3 will be on Tuesday, October 11th, and pickups in Ward 4, 5, and 6 will be on Thursday, October 13th. Residents should email recycling@oldbridge.com for more information and to make an appointment. Item number 7, Parks and Recreation. The Old Bridge John Piccolo Ice Arena opens to the public on Monday, October 10th. Fall recreation classes also start that week. Please go to oldbridge.com/recreation for all update public session information. Council Vice President, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Shaw on the report? Mr. Biscotti?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Shaw. Very complete report. Appreciate it. On the liens, can we get a report on the 4 liens that had no bidders? Can I get a report on that, what the 4 properties were?
I can certainly send the council the list of block and lot number and address,
And the lien amount?
the balance amount, yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions about the report? Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
7 yeses.
Next, public comment on any subject matter for a maximum period of 3 minutes. Do you want to read the? Oh, do I have a motion to open the public?
Move it. Second.
Dr. Greenberg and Mr. Biscotti. Roll call.
Roll call. Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli? Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes. Anyone from the public wish to speak?
Hello. Is this on? I just want to thank.
Oh, we just need your name. and-
Mary Ann Sweet, Cheesequake Village. I want to thank Mayor Owen Henry and whoever was involved in doing the Old Bridge Days on Saturday. It was a beautiful, beautiful day weather-wise. People were friendly, food was great, a little expensive, but it was really good. And I think anybody who had anything to do with it, I commend you and look forward to it next year. And I thank the council for everything they do for us. I know you do it for the town of Old Bridge. You have to be away from your families a lot of your time, and I want to thank you. And I hope everybody realizes this in the town of Old Bridge. Thank you.
Thank you. We have to read the rules for the public comment.
Public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring the council's attention their concerns or comments. This section is open for any topic or items on the consent agenda in accordance with NJSA 10:412A and the Old Bridge Rules of Council. The council asks the public to limit their comments to 3 minutes or less. Only one member of the public should approach to speak to council at a time. The council will respect the public's time by refraining any comment until the speaker has finished with their allotted time. It should be further noted that public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made through the corresponding department's office during regular business hours. The township clerk will regulate the time during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Anyone else wish to speak? Okay, I'll close the public portion. Next, discussion ordinances. First will be an ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending Chapter 250 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Old Bridge Township Land Development Ordinance by amending 250-83 entitled Site Plan Approval Required.
Thank you, Council. Tonight, we're here to talk about some zoning restrictions that we would like to make it a little easier. I don't know if that's the right word, but less restrictive and less of a process to go through for some of these simple items that people come before zoning for and not have to appear before a full board, hire an attorney, and take long. We'd like to continue the road we've been on, where our zoning officer and our zoning official have the ability now to grant permission for these simple items that don't require a site plan, just a site plan approval. And one of the reasons we picked it up was because of the process that people have to go through to put a fence up, especially on commercial property, with the restrictions in place that they have to go before a zoning board and hire an attorney and fill out all these paperwork to get a permission to put a fence up, which actually, I think, improves the appearance in a lot of places. So I approached Vina, and she's willing to, not only tonight, but in the coming future, look at all these individual permits, zoning, if that's the right word, to make it a little easier for our residents and our businesses to improve their properties without having to go in before the zoning board. So Vina, you had some comments you'd like to make, and she can give you all the details. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. So as you all are aware, last few months we have been working very closely with the zoning office trying to streamline the zoning permitting process. And we started off by saying, what can we do to expedite the process? We initially introduced the same-day permits, and it has been very successful. I'm very proud to announce that as of today, there are no pending zoning permits. The only permits that are being held up are the ones where we are waiting for final compliance plans from the Planning and Engineering Office, but otherwise we have no other pending permits. The one issue that we saw was we're getting a lot of applications for fences, whether it's residences or business owners who want to put fences. And now, looking at our ordinance, the way it is flawed, one, with non-residential fences, the ordinance requires that 75% of the fence be open. Now think about it this way. Why do you need a fence for a non-residential use? It's for screening of outdoor storage, screening of parking spaces, screening it against a residential use which is next door. If it's going to be 75% open, how are we really solving the issue? It really defeats the purpose of having a fence then if it's going to be 75% open. What happens by that is when a business owner applies for a zoning permit, clearly the zoning officer denies it because now it's not compliant, which means you have to go to the zoning board, which means you hire a land use attorney, you have a professional planner to justify, you pay application fees and the escrow, which means a business owner is now spending roughly $5,000 to $6,000 just to put up the fence. Needless to say, the business owner is upset because probably he's spending more on getting the approval than he's spending on the actual fence. Same thing applies with residences. Our ordinance says that if your neighboring or the adjacent home is closer than 7.5 feet, you cannot put a fence in a side yard. Now, if somebody wants to put a fence for privacy reason, what does he do? He's in violation of the ordinance. He's required to go to the zoning board for approval, and that is going to cost him an additional $600 to get that approval. Having said all this, our zoning board has been swamped, and I have said this numerous times. I am begging and requesting them for special meetings because everybody's waiting for almost 4 to 5 months to be heard. So we are now already giving out dates in January. If we fix these ordinances, it will avoid sending these applicants to the zoning board. It will save them a ton of money, and it will also streamline the zoning review process. In order to do that, I also need to fix the site plan requirement because There was an applicant that reached out to me and said, well, your fee schedule says that I can ask for a waiver of site plan. So I'm like, okay, but then when I look at the ordinance, there is no language for me to waive any site plan. Now, I clearly see that when you put a fence, you're constructing, if you're not impeding the site circulation, if you're not affecting stormwater, if you're not affecting parking or anything on the site, why should he be paying for a site plan? So we started researching and looking at other ordinances, and there is a provision in many of our neighboring towns' ordinances where the administrative officer in Old Bridge, which is me, I could review these applications and waive the site plan. Again, it will be a huge saving to the applicant. And then what is the zoning board really reviewing when it's a fence? They really are not reviewing anything other than the factual data because it's not affecting the site plan in any which way. So you have 4 ordinances in front of you. One is the Township Code, which also relates to Chapter 250-53, which is related to fences. And then you have the site plan requirement. So you have 4 ordinances. No, it's including the definitions, it's 4. The yes. I take it back. 4 sections. Four sections. No.
Just because you want to end some attorney's business, you're not going to win my fight. Just say 3. It's easier.
4 sections, 3 ordinances. But this is just the beginning. I will be coming back in front of you next month because there's also an issue with fences and encroachment within easements. And we often get challenged. We often get questioned. I get called into the principal's office often because I have asked the zoning officer to deny a fence within an easement. So that will be the next step.
Just to that point, I don't belabor this one, but I mean, the issue is, again, I think it goes back a lot of times, is that when easements are created as part of site plan, and, you know, you don't, I've always told, and I've told Nicole and I've told Vina this, if an easement is going to be required as part of site plan, not only should it be reflected on the plan, there should be an actual written document so that it specifies what the responsibilities are and what can or cannot go in the easement areas. And so a lot of these issues came up because there aren't written documents, and then they show up, and there was not a consistent way to approach that. Now, I'm a literalist, and so if there's an easement, things shouldn't be placed in an easement area because the easement's there for a particular purpose. If you place a fence in an easement area, the problem is, let's say if it's drainage, now you got to remove the fence. Then who's responsible for the removal? We've gone through this stuff, so something we that's come up over time to try to come up with an easier solution. But with the older part of town, that issue comes up frequently. But on these 3 ordinances, the first one that you're going to consider, which is amending section 250-83, which is a site plan approval required. Basically, as Vina had indicated, that's to streamline a process to allow for the administrative officer to issue a fence permit. But it's only in a situation where no variances are required, right? Because you may have a setback requirement. You may have there might be something that if it can't require any type of variance. And then obviously, you don't want it to impact an existing development. For instance, if it's going to affect the water flow, drainage issues, anything that exists on site. So it's really becomes a situation where it's pretty easy, it'll work. So it's not a carte blanche approval, but it's for those situations that are more typical and that they can go up. Then there's another one that deals with section 250 of the code. We had a unique situation where it's a section called fences and walls, except it didn't talk about walls. So we eliminated the reference to walls since it didn't talk about walls, it talked about fences. And then we actually, in discussing with Vina, that our code didn't have a definition of a wall. It only defined a fence. And obviously this particular section, 250-53, dealt with fences, so we eliminated any reference to walls. We included a definition of a wall, which is typically what I think people understand a wall to be. Supports a structure. It's there for basically for a structure. It's not, in a way, the term fence is defined in our ordinance. Fences can be, whether it's, your typical fence, but it could also be used of masonry, brick, so we needed to clarify that. And then the third ordinance, which is not a land use ordinance, amending section 164:10, that mimics some of the changes that were done in the land use code because it deals with non-residential fences. So,
One from the council have questions? Mr. DePalma?
Just the only comment I had was I think it's great that we're looking to kind of cut through some of the red tape, anything that makes it easier for our residents and our business owners to do business here, get this stuff done here. I think that's great. So thank you guys for looking at it.
It's outdated. Fencing now is the vinyl. Everybody goes to the vinyl. Back then it was chain link. There's your 75% open, or your cemetery, picket fences with the iron. So they have to be updated to include modern materials that are being used now, privacy fences.
Any other questions? Dr. Greenberg?
So would like to thank you for looking at these ordinances, and they do need to be tweaked and streamlined, and the attention that you've given to it, I think it's long overdue, and it saves, residents a lot of money. These fences do, help with aesthetics and safety of people's property and privacy. So there's many reasons for it, and, going through that process is very tedious just to put up a fence. But I do have a question when the attorney was speaking about easements. And this has happened several times to several people that I know in town. They have farms, and then the house that butts up to their property, it's so back on their property, a lot of times they don't know it, that residents have put fences on other people's properties. And so my question is it like squatters' rights after so much time that property becomes theirs? Okay, good.
Government. Okay,
well, yeah, there was conflict, it was resolved and everything. People have even put sheds on other people's property when these phones, so obviously fences are good. So thank you very much for your attention to this, and I look forward to this coming to fruition.
Mr. Priscetti?
Yes. Vina, thank you so much. Just like Dr. Greenberg said and Councilman DePalma said, streamline the process for the residents and the business owners is excellent. Going through these ordinances and making sure they're clear is excellent. I really appreciate that. I like to streamline things, and when somebody wants a simple fence in a simple area, they don't have to get a site plan approval. It's going to save thousands of dollars for the residents, and I really appreciate you doing it. I'm in favor of more of this type of thing. Less fees, less restriction. I love it. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Anyone else? Mr. Desai?
Ms. Sawant, right now, you just mentioned to make some less requirement for fences only. Because I served many years on zoning board, so I know there are lots of small applications which can be dealt at the department level or zoning officer. But we made them to pay the fee for application and then come here. Sometimes they sit until end of the meeting and then they have to come back. So I personally suggest that you please come up with some other area where you feel it's okay not to present it to the board. That way board also function in a proper manner, and citizen of Old Bridge will have a less headache paying fee and waiting. Because sometime I remember one time, by the time we approved the fence, the summer is gone. So there are other issues also. So please identify, and you already mentioned you will come back. So please bring some other thing which can be
It's, Councilman, it's an
Yeah.
ongoing
Which is
process.
possible, and
It's an ongoing process. We've been coming
Yes.
to the council on many areas to streamline, make it easy for residents. We have to deal with them day in and day out, and so, and deal with sometimes even angry residents. So we are evaluating and slowly bringing forward with the information, along with, and you have to remember, planning board is extremely busy with a lot of application, and along with a lot of projects being, the redevelopment projects being analyzed. So as time permits, she's bringing forward, and we come to you and appreciate all of you positive support and positive feedback that we're doing the right
sure.
thing.
I'll support
Thank you.
this in a blink. But
Anyone?
I also want one more suggestion, and this is not coming to zoning, it's planning board. If there is an application which started, I think we should have a deadline, because sometimes those applicants or attorney just keep asking for extension, 3, 4, 5 times. By the time they come here and present, the neighbors or concerned parties just lose the patient, and they don't even come and present their side. So I think whenever next planning board sits on this kind of thing, they should think about this. Some kind of cutoff date. If you don't, you will get maximum 5 extension, that's it.
Typically the board waits till the end of the year, and if they can file for an extension, and as long as they file an extension, it's the applicant's decision to file an extension or not. But typically, we wait for the year to end, and at that time, if we haven't heard back and nothing has been filed, you're closer to the end of the extension period, we reach out to the applicant and ask them, because I know the application you're talking about, we do not have any information. It's completely under the applicant's purview, so we have reached out to them to see if they want to withdraw the application.
Yeah, because otherwise it just goes on and on.
I understand.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
If, let's say a resident wants a fence, and the zoning officer says, no, can't get a permit for that, is there a process in this ordinance that the resident can appeal to the council or to the zoning?
That it goes to the zoning board. Under municipal land use law, decisions by the zoning officer get appealed to the zoning board. That's their purview, not council.
Be able to go to the zoning
Yep.
board? Okay, thank you.
That's statutory.
Again, if it is related to an easement, a fence in an easement, then it becomes tricky, because then the zoning board does not have a jurisdiction to approve something in an easement.
That's understood, yes.
Do you need a motion to move this up?
No, I was just going to say thank you for all your work going through all these ordinances. I know it's a lot of work, and you're slowly getting it done. Thank you so much.
We'd
We're
like
going
to introduce that tonight.
I'm gonna say that we have the 3 ordinances. We're gonna ask for motions separately to move up for first reading, but we're gonna vote on them separately. So I'll read them individually so we know what we're voting for. First, I'd like to ask for a motion for ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending Chapter 250 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Old Bridge Township Land Development Ordinance by amending Title 250-83 entitled Site Plan Approval Required. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
I'll move.
I had a motion by Dr. Greenberg, a second by Mr. Piscitty. Roll call.
Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Councilperson Walker.
Yes.
Second reading, public hearing set for October
October
25th, 2022.
Madam Vice President, the title for this one's been corrected. So the second one's going to be the ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending the Code of the Township of Old Bridge by amending Section 164-10 entitled Non-Residential Fences.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Dr. Greenberg Belli, motion.
Mr. Piscitty, second, and then roll call. It's the 11th. It has October 11th for the next one? The first one.
Right.
The planning board meets on October 27th. So it'll be referred to the planning board and then come back to.
To the ordinance have to be referred to.
Correct. So it would have to be the November meeting.
First meeting in November.
First meeting.
All three do not have to go to the planning board. Only two of the three have to go to the planning board. So you're not going to refer one to the planning board that doesn't have to get referred.
So the first meeting.
November
Through the 15th, because that's election day, is the 8th. So we meet on
the 15th.
So it's going to have to go to November 15th then.
That's okay.
Okay.
So that would be public hearings, second reading and public hearing set for November 15th on the first ordinance. Second ordinance, we had a motion by Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Second by Mr. Biscuity.
Roll call vote, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai.
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker.
Yes.
That ordinance is set for second reading and public hearing on October 11th.
Next, ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge amending Chapter 250 of the Code of the Township of Old Bridge entitled Old Bridge Township Land Development Ordinance by amending Title 250-6 Definitions and Title 250-53 Fences and Walls.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Greenberg, second by Mr. Biscuity. Roll call.
Roll call vote, Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg-Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Pasquitti.
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker.
Yes.
So that is second reading, public hearing set for the November 15th also.
Thank you. Next, we have council member comments. Anyone?
So we have, sorry, give me one sec. Flipping through here. Councilperson DeCaro is first.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say, that Old Bridge Day, thank you to Matt and his team for a great event. Old Bridge Day was fantastic. I feel like it was better this year than last year, maybe because of the weather. I know last year it was really hot. This year, I appreciated that he got us, nice weather. And it was really a great event, and I'd like to thank him. And also, just to make mention, I know that last meeting we talked about having the experts come for the discussion of the speeding, and we had gotten an email today that they will be coming to the next meeting, October 11th. So apologize for that miscommunication or mix-up, whatever. And the other thing that I'd like to just bring up, because it's a township issue, it's a school district issue, but school district is part of the township. There's a curriculum meeting tomorrow night for anyone, any resident who is concerned about anything regarding curriculum. It's at 7 p.m. in the Old Bridge Auditorium. So there's been some hot topics going on. So if anybody wants any clarification on anything, please come out to the curriculum meeting. Again, it's in the Old Bridge Auditorium at 7 p.m. The other thing that is going on, and again, this is can only really be done with community input. Okay, so which is why I'm bringing it up here. They have strategic planning sessions scheduled. So if you'd like to be a part of, the school district's strategic planning, there's some dates, Thursday, October 13th, and the goal of that meeting is called Determination. It's the state of the school's strengths and challenges. Monday, November 14th is going to be called Dream, which is creating a common vision and initiatives. And December 6th is Design the District's Destiny, which will be the goals and objectives. So again, it's a township thing. It's not just a school district thing, because we all care about our kids. So, which is why I'm bringing it up here tonight. And anyone is welcome to attend. And I hope we have a lot of input with, for our students. And that's it. Thank you.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes, thank you. Over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed, as I've been driving around, a lot of debris and trash on the sides of the roads. Please, everyone, just make sure you do your part, right? Set a good example for the young folks. Don't litter. There's only so much that the mayor's clean team and Public Works can get out there and clean up the sides of the roads. It's only going to become more and more viewable and prevalent as the winter and fall is upon us now, and all those trees start to die, the leaves start to go away. You're going to start to see more and more of that trash that might be now covered by some greenery. So please just, do your part in the community, keep our community clean, keep our community beautiful. And I guess my public safety, as always, please everyone drive safely, especially as traffic is starting to increase with the fall season. I mean, just this last couple days, folks are out pumpkin picking, apple picking. You drive up 34 towards Delicious Orchards, it's packed. And roadways down Route 9 and all those farms that are now opened up, please, stay safe, drive safely, drive slowly. Remember, an extra minute or two is not going to make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. Thank you.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes, I have an announcement kind of thing. Asian Indian community of Old Bridge and surrounding area is going to celebrate Navratri religious dance festival. We are doing this in Old Bridge since 1983. So I request, I will send out the invitation also tomorrow to mayor and all council people to please come and participate. The event is on this Friday and Saturday at Sandberg Middle School. Start around 9 p.m. and run up to 1 a.m. So you can come anytime. If you are there at the beginning at 9 p.m., we will introduce you and allow to present or speak to the public gathered. And also the same festival, dance festival, is following weekend, November 7 and November 8. But venue is a high school, and both events are in gymnasium of the Sandberg and high school. Time is the same for both days, of all 4 days, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And public at large who is listening or watching at home also are invited. No entrance fee to anyone. Okay, so please try to come and see the colorful costumes and dress and jewelry and beautiful young girls and boys dance to the tune of the religious music. So this is what we call Navratri, victory of good over the evil. That's a celebration. In India, it's celebrated 9 continuous nights. As we speak, in India, it's going on. But here, due to the time constraint, we only do Friday and Saturday. So, Mayor, as usual, the first day you inaugurate the festival. So, and I'm sure, this Friday. Okay, and all council people, my personal request also to please come and enjoy. Thank you. I'll be there at 9 p.m. every day, before 9 p.m.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes, thank you. Councilman Desai, thank you for the invite. I was sure to be there. Sounds like fun.
That's good.
I also want to thank Matt. This is kind of loud, isn't it? I want to thank Matt and Recreation. We had a great day Saturday. It was great. Marianne said, actually, thank you for your kind comments as well. It was a great day, and Matt gave us great weather. Talking about weather, let's pray for the people in Florida with the hurricane hitting next couple of days. Let's hopefully they make out safely. That's all I have. Thank you.
I just need one more thing. This is concerning this festival. I did talk to Mr. Shah this afternoon and send him an email also. And this is it's not a complaint, but it's just frustration because we are not required by school, but for our own safety purpose, we always hire Old Bridge police officer or the special. This time I had a real rough time. I left maybe 6-7 messages on the extension number 3436, which I used to call all the time. And also on extension 3401, which Mr. Shah gave me yesterday. No response. I don't understand. And even I mentioned I'm councilman, still no response. So what will happen to ordinary citizen who calls?
I'm going to follow up. I have forwarded that. I'll follow up and get back to you.
No, I know. That's why I send it to you email, just to let know what's going on. So if there is anyone from police department, please ask them to check the message and please call because I need this for Friday and Saturday and next weekend also. Thank you.
Council, I'll just comment, if anyone does not get a return call back with at least the first or second try, don't wait till it goes to 6. You call my office immediately. Don't let it go this long.
Yeah, I did call Mr. Shah. Thank you.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Basically, for everyone to have a good fall, be safe. And also, this sounds like a simple thing when people were talking about litter or the leaves now. With the rain that we're having, we had a very dry summer. Storm water drains, what happens when it rains and different debris in the road or leaves cover your storm water drain, make sure you get out and you sweep them off. If not, we get flooding in the streets. That's totally unnecessary. I'm totally amazed when I drive around and I see all the debris. I go, it's such a simple thing. Just sweep it, and it works for everybody. Thanks.
Councilperson Pescitti?
Yeah, I also want to thank Matt from Recreation and all the other helpers. It was a really nice day for those that made it out. It was a big crowd, a lot of fun. Thanks for your comments, Mary Ann.
Council Vice President Walker?
I just want to say I'm so happy that the light at 34 and Amboy is working. Council President Sower and myself, it took us about 20 years to get that light up, and it was so thrilling to go through it at the first time. You could actually turn on from Amboy into 34 safely without, I know it's a pain now, you have to wait for a light because you never had to wait, but at least it's safe now. And I've noticed a difference at the intersection down by my house that the traffic is flowing differently now. Instead of a constant flow, it seems like there's a gap because the people must be stopping up top and then coming. So I'm hoping it's going to improve that intersection as well, so we'll see.
Council President, if I may, I know this is council comment, and I know you all recognize and great day of Old Bridge Day on 10th, but I think I'll be remiss not to recognize our public works staff who were working hard, as well as our police department. At a mayor's booth, we had our retired administrative staff attending then. So I want to recognize all employees, many employees participated. Thank you, police department, thanks public works department staff.
Next, we're going to go into executive session for action item PBA, Contract Local 127, Contract Negotiations, and we'll be returning back after that. So can I get a motion to go into executive?
Second.
Roll call.
Motion by Dr. Greenberg Belli,
Second by
second
Mr. Pescetti.
by Mr. Pescitti? Yes. Roll call, Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli? Yes. Councilperson Pescitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes. To return from executive session.
Move it.
Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Second by Mr. Moschetti. Roll call.
Mr. Peschitti, roll call. Councilperson DeCaro.
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma.
Yes.
Councilperson Desai. Councilperson Garcia.
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli.
Yes.
Councilperson Peschitti.
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker.
Yes. I'd like a motion to approve the contract for PBA Local 127.
Move it.
Second.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli, second by Mr.
Garcia.
Councilperson DePalma or Garcia?
Council
Garcia.
President, if I may, before you take a vote, I want to recognize the officers that are here, Officer Dugan, Jessica, Officer Ram, and Officer. Now, I'm not good at remembering name, but I just want to recognize that these officers, we sat down hours and hours, particularly Bill Dugan. I want to thank him for his unbelievable efforts to sway me in his direction, constantly trying and trying and trying. But all four of them, and one of the officers is not here, Brady, Mr. Brady, Officer Brady is not here. They were professional. We had a good negotiation. We had a good laugh, I would say, right? And so I want to thank them. Huh? A lot of screaming and yelling. I told them about this. But I just think it's important that recognize that we have a good officers, we have good police force. There are good people working there. They're professional. They're respectful, and I think they should be recognized for their efforts, being part of the team.
Is he speaking?
I hope the orchestra doesn't come on and play me out. No, so
He's a ringleader.
I think we need a roll call first, right?
roll call
Well, we're going to
To
adopt,
vote.
we're going to do a roll call.
Okay.
from us or you?
No, from us. So this is the vote to adopt the MOA. Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson DePalma?
Yes.
Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli?
Yes.
Councilperson Peschitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for taking the vote before I could say anything that would ruin it. So on behalf of the PBA, so my name is Bill Dugan. I'm a detective here, and I'm a trustee with the PBA. Want to thank the council. Want to thank Himanshu and the mayor. We think that this contract is going to really boost our ability to recruit and retain top talent, to incentivize the officers that are here, our best talent, to stay here. And we think that the contract, while the contract's really a compensation plan, but we think that the process that we had, the dialogue, the communication, is going to be a way for us to build a better relationship with the town and to kind of move forward as a police department and township. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sir?
At your level of the number of police officers in Old Bridge and the size of our town, do you believe that we need more officers, or we're
As many as you can get. I mean, I think that's way above my pay grade, but yes, the more the merrier. The size of our town's changing. It's better to be proactive than reactive in law enforcement. And I think the past few years have told us that as a society at large.
Let me just make it clear. I think if you look at the last 10, 12 years, once we recover from financial crisis in 2012, we have been actively recruiting and what I call organically growing the police department. I think it was about 80. Now we are 104, 105. And I think for government, for our size and the laws that requires us, the budgeting limitation that is put on us, the cap that put on us, it's a right thing to do, organically grow rather than just put 20 people and then lay off 10 in few years. We have gone through 2 layoffs in this town. I think what got implemented since 2012 after Mayor Henry came on board and after the evaluation, I think it's done right. I think we can sustain these things, sustain growth. And our goal is to continue growth. And just so it's very important to recognize that the growing town is not just the only police department effect. We have a need in public works. We have a need in parks and recreation. And then we also have to be concerned about how we're going to do it. Financially, We need to sustain so we don't go back and hire a young officer and then lay them off. That's not the good planning. That's not the good way to operate and manage. So yes, there is more needed. You can get a lot of statistic, based on a population, based on calls, and this many or that many. It's all good what we can fit in and make sure that we have well-paid officers that does a good job. And I think, as Bill said, this will allow them to be attract more talent, retain more talent. I told you we have already one officer came back. He's already applied back, and we already hired him back, and he's coming on board. And so there is no training needed for him. He'll be right on the road. So we have one more. So we're doing everything, administration, doing everything we can do to add without creating a chaos.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Make a quick comment. First of all, I'm a retired Jersey City police officer, and we are always at odds with our administration, Jersey City. They always fall with us. So I'm glad to be on this side of the fence with you guys, helping you guys. This is great. We should get along. We need to get along. It's all one overage. So I thank you. I thank the mayor and Amanchu for doing what you did, and you guys. It should be all one team. That's how it should be, I believe. In Jersey City, it was always difficult. It's like you're fighting them all the time. So I'm glad to be part of this. So congratulations.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move it.
Second. Second to adjourn?
Second.
Roll call vote. Councilperson DeCaro?
Yes.
Councilperson De Palma? Yes. Councilperson Desai?
Yes.
Councilperson Garcia?
Yes.
Councilperson Dr. Greenberg Belli? Councilperson Pasquitti?
Yes.
Council Vice President Walker?
Yes. Good night.
Adjournment at 9:55.